Hey guys, welcome to Manosphere Nation. I'm your host, James. In this video, we're going to talk about why so many men are struggling with online dating. And we're going to do it right after the intro. Guys, I received an email the other day from a viewer who was not on YouTube, so let me take this opportunity to tell you that Manosphere Nation channel is on alternative media sites, not just YouTube. We're on BitChute, and we're really taking off on BitChute. We're on Rumble, we're on Odyssey. We've got a locals community, locals.manospherenation. Guys, so if you can, go ahead and subscribe to us on those alternative media channel or platforms as well, just in case YouTube decides to get funky with their algorithms or decides to pull the channel because they don't, quote, like the content. So anyway, I got an email from a viewer who basically said that he was struggling with online dating. He wasn't getting hardly any matches, and the few matches he was getting, he'd send him a message and he'd never hear back from him, and he couldn't figure out what he was doing wrong. I'm not going to read his email verbatim. He mentioned college, so I'm assuming he's probably early 20s. He talked a little bit about Tinder, talked a little bit about Bumble. So it sounded to me like he was more geared for dating apps than dating websites. However, what I'm getting ready to tell you applies to both apps and dating websites. So, guys, first off, you got to understand, online dating is not geared for men. It heavily favors women. I think out of everybody that's on an online dating or an app or a website, I want to say 54% are men. So men are already outnumbered, even though in the United States, women outnumber men. I want to say it's like 165 million women, 155 or 150 million men, something like that. I don't remember the stats, but off the last census, women outnumbered men, yet on online dating, men outnumber the women. What's really affecting online dating, and I've been on online dating off and on for well over a decade. I've got a lot of experience, and I've learned a lot of lessons, but just over the last couple of years, even I've noticed it's getting a little bit harder for men. And the primary reason for this is about 80% of the women that are on online dating are swiping right on only about 20% of the men. I've talked a little bit about this in other videos, but the truth is Tinder did a study several years ago and found that, most women are only preferring that top 20% of men. So that leaves about 80% of men to swipe right and contend with the bottom 20% of women. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you're probably not swiping right or messaging that bottom 20% of women, which means you're really not getting any matches. So, and you're probably wondering why. Well, guys, it's about natural selection. For tens of thousands of years, women have relied on men for protection. They've relied on men for provisioning. Women had to worry about being eaten by a lion, or they'd have warring tribes, and the tribes would kill off the men, and a lot of times even kill off the small children and take the women and use them. So women have always tended to rely on men for protection. This is innate in women, and it's hardwired, it's hard-coded into their DNA, just passed on genetically, generation after generation after generation, for thousands and thousands of years. So even today, women, obviously they're not worried about being eaten by a lion, but that looking to men for provisioning and protection, it's just a part of who they are even today in today's society. Men have always taken kind of the shotgun approach to passing on their genetics, passing on their DNA. Men typically try to mate with as many mates as possible. Women, on the other hand, try to mate with the best mate possible. We're both hardwired for this. Men we want to mate with. We mate with everybody, up, down, sideways. Women mate up. They want men that they feel are above them. They don't typically mate down. In today's society, they don't even mate sideways. They mate up. So women are looking for the best traits in men when they choose their partner, when they choose with who they want to mate with. Those traits that they look for are hardwired into their brain. It's subconscious, really. The first trait they look for is they want men typically that are taller, bigger, muscular. Again, part of this goes back to that innate need for protection, for provisioning. I don't care what the feminists say. I don't care what the gynocentric society tells us. Men typically are bigger, stronger. Women typically physically are weaker. Men have bigger muscles. Men have bigger bone density. That's just science, and you can argue all you want, but that's the science. So women are looking for men that subconsciously, that psychologically, they feel can protect them from, quote unquote, the dangers out in the real world. So they want tall, they want muscular. Even if the taller guys and the muscular guys aren't that tough, subconsciously their brain is triggered to think, hey, this guy's bigger, therefore he's going to be a better protector, even if he's not. Women also want men that are athletic. And not just for the protection aspect, but because athletic men that are taller, men that are bigger, stronger, more athletic, typically women are programmed to think they're going to have better genes. And those better genes and genetics are going to be passed on to their offspring, which means that their offspring have a better chance of surviving the dangers and the horrors in the world. So not only are they wanting protection for themselves and for their children, for their offspring, they want those good genetics to pass on their lineage. This means that their children are going to potentially live longer, and their children's children will live longer, and therefore their bloodline, their lineage, has a better chance of surviving on down the years. Next, women want a man with a good-looking face, a symmetrical face, and not just because it's physically appealing to them, but also because, again, genetically, those good looks are going to be passed on, hopefully, to their children. Guys, face it, women don't want no ugly baby. If the children are good looking, that means that their children have a better chance of getting a mate and mating and continuing that bloodline, continuing that lineage. I was about 14 years old, and I was, quote unquote, seeing a girl about my same age. Her parents and my parents were friends, and I remember overhearing her mom telling my mom, oh my God, if they grow up and get married, their babies are going to look amazing. But that's how women think. They want attractive children. They want their kids to be good looking. They want their children to have a better chance at mating. Next, women want a guy who is financially stable. If the man has money, if the man has resources, then the woman is going to feel like she's going to be more well off. She's going to have a better, quote unquote, nest for her offspring. Her children's needs are going to be met, and that means she doesn't have to worry about things like food or going hungry or water. And of course, in today's society, women are going to want that. Women are attracted, not all women, but a lot of women are attracted to that wealthy lifestyle. And so that's something else that they look for in men, even if the men aren't really all that good looking or all that muscular, maybe kind of short and dumpy, but if they got loads and loads of cash, they've got some hot women with them. Women also look for a man who's confident. Confidence to a woman shows that the man has good leadership. It also typically makes the woman think that the man's going to make smart decisions that will benefit the woman and her offspring. He's going to lead her to success. He's going to lead her away from danger. And so that's why women are innately drawn to men who lead. You can have all those women out there that want to be independent and we don't need a man, but genetically, again, they're hardwired to look for a man who they feel is confident enough to lead them into prosperity and lead them out of danger. Women want this. And the women that are particularly hot, that are really attractive, the women that are the quote unquote the good stuff, they want the good stuff in return. They want the men with all those different characteristics. And let's face it, only probably about 20% of men in our society have all those characteristics or some combination of them. But you can't really blame women for wanting the good stuff. NBA players, NFL players, those players that are at the peak of their game, the Tom Brady's, the LeBron James, they command the ultra high contracts. Why? Because they're worth it. They want the max contract because they know their worth. Same thing with women. If the women that are particularly hot know that, they're going to want the top of the line men. They feel like they deserve it. But that leads us to why so many men are struggling with online dating. And there's two main reasons. I mean, there's probably more than that, but we're going to discuss the two main reasons why you're struggling at online dating. First, unfortunately, more and more women are putting themselves into that good stuff category. They think they're rated higher in their mind than what most men see them as. Our society, feminism, the media, especially social media, it's a very gynocentric society, and it's telling women, hey, you can go out and do whatever you want, you can go out and be whatever you want, and there's no consequences to it. You see the body positivity movement where women can be obese and they're still told, hey, you're sexy, you're good looking. And if men are saying, hey, we're not attracted to that, well then we're the problem. We're misogynists. We're fat shaming. Women can have their list of demands or their wants, and that's perfectly acceptable. But if a man says, hey, I don't want a woman that's overweight, well, that's the man's problem. That's the man's fault. Women also feel like they can go out and do whatever they want without consequences. They can go out and sleep around and have a new guy every week, and at the end of the day, they still deserve that high quality, that high caliber man. They're entitled to it because that's what society is telling them. And so you've got more and more women that to a man, may only rate a 6 or a 7. She's thinking she's a 9 or a 10, and she's deserving that 20% man. And so the 20% men have the vast majority of selections. And you've got a guy who, he may be a 7 or an 8, and he's trying to message a woman that's also a 7, but that woman that's a 7, she thinks she's a 9. And so she's going to skip the guy who's a 7 or even an 8 because she doesn't want to date down, because in her mind, she's a high caliber woman, even though her actions and her looks and all that stuff tell men otherwise. This has made dating for men in the 21st century way more difficult than it's ever been before. Okay? The second reason, and I'm going to just lay the cold, hard truth out there for you. The second reason is you're probably not in that top 20%. So many guys out there, they want a high caliber woman, but they're not putting in the work to make themselves a high caliber man. But that's not the end of the world. You can do things and improve yourself enough to start putting you up into that top category. I think the CDC came out in the last year or two, and basically, by its estimates, about 73% of all Americans that are 20 and older, 73% of them are considered overweight. So that's 3 out of 4 people in the United States are considered overweight. If that's one of you, hey, you can take steps to change that. Get to the gym, start working out, change your diet, control what you do in the kitchen. When you start dropping that weight and you get back to a height-weight proportion, man, now suddenly you're in the top 27%. You're now one out of 4 that is not overweight. Now you've started raising your status some. Add some muscles. Work on building your confidence and your self-esteem. There'll be a link in the description below on a video where I talk about building your self-confidence. Do things to increase your social circle so that you've got more friends and you've got more people to practice your social skills with. And if you do this kind of stuff, yes, it's hard work. Yes, it's going to take sweat equity, but I promise you over time, you will raise your status and you will get into that top 20%. Okay, guys, if you're getting some matches, but you're not getting a response, you're messaging them and you're getting no response, that's because you're not in her top selections. Say, for example, that you find a woman that's just smoking hot and you swipe right on her. Dude, I promise you, 100 other guys have swiped right on her. So the woman's got plenty of options. Let's say that this woman goes through Bumble or Tinder or Hinge, whatever, and she swipes right on 20 guys. She's going to match with at least 18 of those 20 guys, if not all 20. So you're one out of, we'll say you're one out of 18. She's not going to try to conversate with all 18 to 20 of her matches. She's going to go through and find the top one or two, maybe top 3 guys, and she'll communicate with them. So you may rate an 8 to her or an 8.5, and now she's matched with 2 9s and a 10. Who do you think she's going to talk to? But there are some things you can do to try to help you stand out from all the other messages that she's getting. First, your opening message cannot be boring. Look at the list here. This is very typical of what women get. Hey, what's up? Hey, sexy, what's up? How you doing? Hey. Dude, women get that all day long. It's boring. They don't want that. They want something that stands out. I've found that if you ask her a question or make a comment about her profile or a picture in her profile, something that engages her, she's more inclined to respond. Several years ago, actually it was a couple of years ago, I matched with a woman that was really attractive. And in one of her pictures, she's holding a dog and she's smiling. And I remember my message to her was, "Those eyes are amazing." And the owner's kind of cute too. Well, she chuckled and she engaged with me, and we went out on a couple dates. It kind of fizzled. There were some red flags, and I cut it loose. But that's what got her attracted. A lot of times, if you say something like, "Hey, I think you look like a nurse," or "You look like a teacher," or "I bet you like doing whatever activity," a lot of times that will trigger curiosity in her, and she'll be like, "Well, why are you thinking that?" Or "How did you know?" And that will help you to stand out just a little bit more from all the dozens and dozens and dozens of messages that she gets that essentially all say the same thing. Once you do get her to engage with you via message, guys, keep it light, keep it playful, a little flirty. You might want to use a little bit of humor, but you've got to be careful. You cannot go overboard with humor. Humor is very hard sometimes to come across in text messages. You can't use tone, you can't use inflection of your voice. And so sometimes what you think is funny, the woman may not realize that you're trying to be humorous. So I don't use any kind of sarcasm at all until we've at least met in person and I've got a pretty good feel for her. I promise you, I've probably killed some prospective dates in years past because I was going overboard with the humor. So this is a lesson I learned the hard way. Next, don't rush it. But your first goal here is to get her off of the app or off of the website and get her onto your phone so that you're texting back and forth. So you want to get her phone number. Typically, once we start messaging on the app, within a day or two, I'm trying to get her phone number. I'm trying to build up a little bit of a vibe so she thinks I'm playful and I'm fun and she wants to get to know me more. So, like I said, usually I don't continue to message her for days and days and days and days. Within a day or two, I'm trying to get her phone number so I can get her off the dating site. Once you get her phone number, again, same rules apply. Keep it light, keep it playful, very little humor, just a little, but not too much. The other thing you got to keep in mind, guys, you do not want to go overboard with your texting. I cannot stress this enough. You cannot build rapport with a woman over text messaging. Let me say that again. This is important. You cannot build rapport with a woman via text messaging. You build rapport with a woman in person, face to face. That's why you're going on those dates, to build the rapport. Text messaging is used to help get you on those dates. There are some coaches, dating coaches out there that will say you text only to set up a date and nothing else. And if you're using cold approach, say for example it's a woman that works in the same office building as you, or a woman that's in one of your classes at school, and you've seen each other in person, you've communicated a little bit, you kind of know, you kind of got a little bit of vibe with her, then that's absolutely true. Get her number, text her to set up a date, and nothing else. Online dating is a little bit different because you've never met the person face to face. So you have to text a little bit to build up a vibe and to make her think that you're playful and you're fun. But men, you can easily go overboard and text way too much, and that will kill the vibe. Typically, within a day or two of getting her number, I'm trying to set up the first date. And I try to set the date 48 hours, no more than 72 hours out. Meaning if I'm asking her out on a Tuesday, I'm trying to set something up for a Thursday, Friday at the latest. Guys, this is a numbers game. If she's talking to you online dating, or she's talking to you via text, she's talking to other guys. So you can't sit around and talk and text for days and days and days and days and days, because another guy's going to come in and she's going to think, well, this guy's not asking me out, so I'll go out with this other guy over here. So when you set up the date, you need to have the time and the place and the day already set in your mind. You absolutely do not ask her, hey, where would you like to go? Hey, what would you like to do? You don't do that. Again, women want a man who can lead. You decide where you want to go, and then you invite her to come along with you. The way I usually approach it is I say, hey, I would love to meet you for a drink. Are you free on Thursday, say 7-ish? And she says, oh yeah, that'd be great. Perfect. I know this great little bar over on Main Street. Or, hey, I know this great little coffee shop that I want to try, and it's over here. You already have everything picked out, what you're going to do, and you're inviting her along to go with you. That way, you're not asking her what she wants to do, and you're not putting her on the spot. You're showing her you can lead, and if she sees that you can lead and she's attracted to you, she's going to follow. Guys, hopefully this will help you just a little bit. I cannot stress this enough. Online dating is not geared for men. It's geared for women. So if you're jumping into online dating, just know a lot of times it can be a rigged game. That being said, that doesn't mean you can't have success in it and success with it. You just have to put in the time and the work and the effort. You have to put in the sweat equity. Guys, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. If you've got guys out there that you know are struggling with online dating, please share this video with them. Help our channel grow, and together we can all become better men.